Hey everyone, it's Molly the Kush RN, your cannabis community correspondent and host of Conversations with Kush podcast. Tonight, I am interviewing my good friend, Jen Randolph Reise. It is her birthday. Happy birthday, Jen.
Thanks, Molly. I appreciate that.
She's got a big panel coming up, and tonight we're here to talk about your accelerator program, right?
Yes. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about who you are, how you came into cannabis, and what the accelerator program is all about.
Yes. So I'm a lawyer by training. A lot of people know me from my North Star Law Group days. And I've done a lot of writing and speaking about Minnesota's craft cannabis industry, trying to lift up and help people navigate the regulatory complexity. I got into cannabis because I have a kid who has a medical condition that was greatly helped by medical cannabis. And so I thought, what do I want to be when I grow up? I want to try to help these entrepreneurs succeed and beat the seriously terrible failure rates that we see in other states for small cannabis entrepreneurs, as much as 80%. Okay? And so I pivoted hard into this industry. Since January, I've been operating under my own name as North Star Cannabis Consulting, so my website and my email have changed, but I still run the newsletter that a lot of people read, and I also now have launched this North Star Accelerator program for small entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that we're celebrating tonight is the launch of the North Star Accelerator program.
Well, congratulations. It's really exciting. Tell me what kind of people come into the Accelerator program. Like what kinds of people are accessing it?
Yes, so the Accelerator is all small entrepreneurs who are standing up micro businesses or other small businesses in Minnesota's adult use market.
Okay.
It's designed to move you in a thoughtful but urgent fashion to launch, because we know that the people who are able to open their businesses on the early side are going to be able to capture a lot of that high-priced flower, that's those strong early revenues, and so it matters to be able to open sooner rather than later. So the people that are in the Accelerator are all people who are mostly doing it themselves. People who are putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their own business. If people that are looking for a consultant to come and do it all for them, there are those. But they cost a lot more than the Accelerator does. Right. What I'm trying to do is make it possible for those mostly DIY people to actually have the good regulatory information and resources that they need so that they don't get their license messed up by some, minor thing, and that they have a place to ask their questions.
Is it always plant touching?
Everybody is, micros, couple mezzos, one retail. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
all licensed businesses.
What inspired the program? I know you've talked a little bit about being an advocate for small businesses. What else have you seen that you want to help people avoid?
Part of it is just that people don't know what they don't know. For instance, we're the 23rd state to legalize. Every state's rules are slightly different about what they allow and what they don't allow. And so I hear people all the time say something like, well, I'm going to do deli style, or I assume that I have to build one of those little rooms to check IDs in at the front of my store. Okay?
What's deli style?
Oh, deli style is when the bud tender can actually hold the jar out to you. I love deli style, okay? But Minnesota's rules are not set up to do deli style.
Okay.
But the good news is we don't have to build vestibules, okay? That's not in our rules. It's in the rules of a number of other states, but don't spend, $20,000 building a little room that you don't have to build, right?
Okay, gotcha.
I was on the Northern Lights podcast a couple weeks ago. I got to tell Clem that live on the podcast, which was pretty fun. No, you don't have to build a vestibule. Okay, so there's lots of small things that people are encountering. There's also people know that they need service providers. For instance, they need a security provider. But who do they pick? How do they know who's reputable, who hasn't screwed over other people, who is going to help them play by the rules, right? And so one of the important things that we're doing in the Accelerator is first that I'm going out and finding and vetting service providers by talking to my contacts in other markets,
That's awesome.
making sure people are like legit. And then we're able to also share information with each other about what's working for us, what kind of service providers or services are helping us move forward, so that we don't all have to make the same mistakes.
Okay.
We can share information and we can rise together.
I love that. That's awesome. So how, like more long term then, how do you kind of set people up for success?
So the accelerator,
That's okay.
So the accelerator has a couple of components. We meet weekly Tuesdays at noon for a live session. So that's an opportunity to ask me any questions that have come up during the week, or ask other members of the accelerator, because as I said, like, we often have the solutions to each other's questions.
Right.
That's a super important part of what we're doing.
Is.
So every week we've got that time. Often we bring in guest speakers to educate us. So for instance, we had Mark Waller come and talk about accounting and 280E. We had Nicole Rash come and talk about zoning and how to work through your property zoning stuff. Okay, so we're educating ourselves.
Okay.
We're getting our questions answered so that we're able to move forward. Then the accelerator also includes those valuable referrals and recommendations to service providers. Some of them we actually like have good deals with and are setting up, packages for accelerator members that are suitable for small entrepreneurs. Others are just, you need an industrial hygienist, you don't even know where to start. I'll go find one for you.
Okay, that's awesome.
And so that's been a really valuable part as well. And I'm super excited that as we get more members into the accelerator, we'll be able to push those service providers for bigger discounts. My hope is that it will be worth being in the accelerator just for the discounts.
Yeah.
Like Costco.
Right. I love the community building aspect of it. I think it's really important that, we can come into spaces where we feel safe. We're kind of all in the same spot, We may have seen some of those pitfalls, and now we know the things to avoid to, go down those paths. And I think what you're really doing is important because, again, you have that community aspect. You feel, I would imagine that the members feel kind of like not an obligation, but like a sense of like belonging to a group, where they're like kind of all in the same spot and they're doing it together, and it's really beautiful.
Well, I think you'll see that tonight. A lot of the accelerator members are going to come to the panel tonight.
Okay.
And they are starting to be friends and supporters to one another.
Yeah.
My hope is that they will be important business relationships for one another as well.
100%.
Minnesota has on purpose built a fragmented industry where we have to find somebody who has legal flower and we have to find somebody who is allowed to sell it. We've done a good job at Earl Giles getting to know each other. This takes that forward and helps us actually launch this industry together.
If you would, give an example or two of a situation where you've helped someone kind of navigate those pitfalls, or they've, encountered someone else in the group that's gone through something.
I've seen it happen with property a lot.
Okay.
People are all navigating highly individualized processes with their various cities and counties. But when you zoom out and you can see the patterns of it, then we're able to advise, like, here's the next step that you should try, here's who you should talk to. And it's so fun to have people come back and say, that worked! I got through the process just with hearing Nicole Rash's education, being able to ask her and you a couple questions, and then I was empowered to go do the thing I needed to do to get through this hurdle, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to accomplish here, is empower the entrepreneurs with the right information so that they can move forward.
If people have more niche problems where they're like, I need a specific contract for this thing, are you able to help out with those kind of niche things and add things into the package that they could maybe pay above and beyond for, or how does that work?
Yeah, so members can always buy additional one-on-one confidential time with me.
Okay.
I'm finding it's not so much that people want contracts, but that people want to say, okay, here's the deal. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how this investor situation is breaking down, for instance, right? That's beyond the scope of what we do together on the Tuesday for an hour, okay? But people can set up one-on-one confidential time with me at a reduced rate to what it would be if they were not a member of the accelerator. And you know what? We can get a lot lot done in a half hour or an hour, sort that out, get them back on track, figure out their right next steps, and then it's fun. They always feel a lot more ready to go at the end of strategy meetings.
Do you find that the micros and the mesos are finding enough common ground that they can like be in the same space together?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. They're, especially the folks who are coming to me, they're Minnesota small entrepreneurs. They just are working to build a bigger business.
Sure. So the law doesn't change then.
Exactly. And the rules are the same.
Right,
and that's a lot of what we're working on often is sort of weird little bits of the rules and how do we interpret that, and then how do we take advantage of that in a way that customers are going to be excited about, right? Because we don't have to just comply with the rules. We have to set up successful businesses that are profitable, right? And so we also need to be thinking about things like marketing and merchandising and our cost structure and all that kind of stuff. And we talk about that all the time in the accelerator as well. So it's not just legal and licensing. I'm a business lawyer by training.
It's really start to finish then. I mean, you're really, and you might find people in different spots when they come in, right? So they may be halfway through the process or they may be just starting out, but the end goal is always getting them across that finish line. And
that's exactly right. Yeah. One of the things that I like about how we've done the accelerator with the beta is that now we have all these education pieces that already exist and are basically on demand, right? When someone joins the accelerator now. And so I'm excited that people will be able to use that to like skill up quickly.
Right.
The last member who joined the accelerator a couple of weeks ago, they did such a great job of this. They scheduled an expensive meeting with me, went and watched all these videos, and then came with their list of questions. Okay, we saw you say this. Here's our specific situation. What do you think? It was great. We like boom, 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 right? So I'm excited to bring in more people, especially if people are feeling a little bit stuck, a little like they're not sure what their right next step is. I know that they're being marketed to aggressively by the various service providers.
Right.
And one thing that trying to help people do is figure out the order in which to make those decisions, because you don't want to get stuck in a contract with somebody who actually doesn't work with somebody else that you use, or there are lots of things that people will learn as they go that we can smooth the road a little bit.
You've been here since the inception. I feel like you've been around in these rooms for a long time. What's the biggest piece of advice you can give to someone that's coming new into the market and they really want to try doing a micro or a meso or any other business?
It's pretty wonderful to hear people from out of state, for instance, at the Green Equity Forum, say, you guys really have built a community here. You are not out to kill each other like I saw in the New York market or whatever.
Right.
And you know what? I think that's a strength. We have a little bit of a lead over the MSOs and some of the other really big players that are about to enter the market. And we don't have to have sharp elbows with one another.
True.
Now, I don't make people share in the accelerator. They can just lurk and receive. That's fine. But I do think that part of the beauty of it is that it lets us build together and
do you find
capture some market share together.
Do you find that people do want to share, though? Has that been your experience? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People are alight by being able to be in community with other people who get them, right? In part, the accelerator was inspired by the fact that I can't make myself go to the gym unless I am paying someone to meet me there. I find this so annoying. I buy equipment, I have it at my house, I know how to do the movements, but I do not do them, okay?
Relatable.
Right. And so when we set a time, we're going to meet Tuesdays at noon, then all of a sudden it makes everything keep moving. We've set an intention.
Exactly.
We've spent a little bit of money towards that intention. All of a sudden we start rocketing towards it.
And I think as people develop relationships within that, they feel, like I said earlier, just like a little bit of an obligation. Like, I need to show up for my meeting. You know, it's almost like an AA meeting. But funner. And maybe people even get to sash at it. I don't know.
They certainly can if they want. One of the things about it is that we are just on Google Meet. So it's Tuesdays at noon on Google Meet, which is actually great for the folks who are outstate, et cetera, and it makes it easy for people to pop in from, working at their day job or whatever. So
right. So not a super high on the list of priorities, or obligations that you have to get done.
Yeah.
Easy to knock out, right?
Exactly. And we record it. So actually I have one client who they run a cafe together. And so one business partner is usually there live, and then the other business partner watches it, and then they talk about it before the next week.
Awesome.
Isn't that cute?
I do love
right?
that.
Right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
There's clearly a lot of value here. And part of how we know that there's so much value is I'm not asking people for long-term contracts.
Okay. So talk more about the price structure and how people get entered into it.
Yeah. So you pay by the week.
Okay.
The founding members paid $100 a week. Again, that's just towards launch. And I asked for just a minimum 4 weeks.
Okay.
So if it's not working for you, if it doesn't feel like the kind of thing that's your thing, then you can leave the room.
Right.
Right?
And from day one, you're already tapped into all those educational pieces that you have. So that's awesome.
And so I encourage people to give it a shot, knowing that you're not out that much money if you decide that this isn't the way that you want to go.
Yeah.
I did that on purpose because I like to what I call date before you get married with service providers. I like to design small projects to see if we're a fit.
Yeah.
Usually you know a lot more by the end of that small project.
For sure.
So don't pay somebody $20,000 if you've never had them do anything for you before,
Well, this is awesome, and I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I see what you're developing, this sense of community, this ability for a small business owner to come in and glean the resources that they need in the spot where they are, and I think that is very valuable. So thank you for this important work for our Minnesota business people, and happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Last but not least, tell my audience where they can find you.
Yes, so check out my new website at northstarcannabisconsulting.com. There you can sign up for the newsletter if you don't already read the newsletter. It's every other Thursday.
Newsletter. Yes.
It also has pictures of my cute cat.
Mochi!
Yes.
But has mochi moments.
There's even more mochi content if you follow me on Instagram, which is Jen's Journey On.
Perfect. So you heard it first, everyone. We are live tonight from Earl Giles. Thank you to Jen Randolph Reise and North Star Consulting and her new beautiful accelerator program. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
All right. Peace. That's it. There you go. Not so bad. Did you get out everything you wanted to say? Okay.
Yeah. Shall we recreate?
Am I allowed to step in front of the camera?
Okay.
I got some really good little.
Got some good ones? Yeah, we're done.
All right.